I started my career in traditional finance. I worked on Wall Street trading corporate credit for 12 years. Um, and my start into crypto was 2017. I was kind of sick of the traditional finance world and just had no idea what to do. When you're a trader in TradFi, it's like a great job, but then there's no real like what the fuck do you do? I know how to trade credit, and that's all I know how to do as a 30 plus year old. Like, what am I going to do? And I had heard about Bitcoin. I started just looking into it, and it seemed really interesting. And I realized there are jobs trading this. And so I started applying. I applied to Coinbase and Kraken. They had these OTC desks. Um, that seemed really cool. And it was kind of similar to what I did in credit. Like it's a very opaque market at the time. Like trading blocks of crypto was pretty opaque, not like it is today. But I got a job at Kraken working on the OTC desk. So we're trading like whales would come to us with large blocks of Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever shitcoin you can imagine. And we would quote them prices and then we would trade it on exchanges. That's become pretty commoditized these days. But back in 2017, it was like fairly illiquid, like a big block of I don't know, Augur or whatever, like coins people were trading back in the day. So I worked for Kraken for a couple years, and then I got a job at Circle Trade. Um, so Circle back then had also had an OTC desk, and it was one of the biggest OTC desks probably in the world. Um, Dan Maniszewski was running that desk, worked there for a couple of years. He left to start CMS, and I joined him shortly thereafter in 2020. And yeah, so CMS has been around for 5 years. Another one of the partners is Bobby Cho, who ran the Cumberland trading desk. So we started out primarily as a trading shop. We all have trading backgrounds. Um, and in 2020, we were trading on all these DeFi exchanges, like that was DeFi summer. And then we started making investments with the money we were making trading, and it just kind of the venture book just grew organically from there. Um, we're a prop desk, meaning we don't have LPs. It's just partner capital. So that allows us to be pretty nimble in the decisions we make, and how we choose to allocate capital. Like we're just one book. So we do venture, we do farming, relative value trading, automated trading. That's all under one book. And we don't differentiate. Whatever we think will generate return, we'll allocate capital to it. And over the 5 years, that's ebbed and flowed between venture and liquid. Um, so the venture market might be really hot and get kind of saturated and then get overpriced. And then we'll kind of sit on that book and wait to the next cycle and use cash and farm with it or do, trade with it, whatever we want to do. So that's really helped us on the venture side because, we're very active on chain. So, a lot of our investments are in the DeFi space or infrastructure that powers it because unlike a lot of venture funds, we're very active on chain. We use all of these applications. So yeah, that's a quick overview of CMS.
Thank you, Nick. Also, thanks for supporting so many of our great projects. Looking forward to more collaborations this demo day. It's I think there was like a lull in innovation or innovative new ideas like this summer. But that has completely changed. Like this is like a fresh batch of like fresh new ideas. Even some of the Me Too projects from over the summer, they've come and redone their thing, and that now they have novel solutions. So I think this next demo day is going to be really amazing. Um,
Nice.
yeah. So with that said, really thrilled to have you and CMS as ecosystem partners. Um, And what you guys are doing is a great thing because we definitely need more pre-seed investors, right, in the ecosystem. I think, but the reality is that it's hard to get in touch with pre-seed investors. What is your advice for getting that first meeting? Like, increasing the chance of first meeting.
So the first thing is like the getting the contact. I mean that's tough because we get spammed. And as everyone knows, in the crypto market, there are so many scams. It's really unbelievable how many scams there are, how many phishing attacks there are. So, when I get a if I get a cold email, you better believe I'm not like opening a file or like clicking a link. So it's hard because my guard is really up at all times. I assume everything is a scam until proven otherwise. And so what you really need to do is find a way to get a warm introduction, meaning from like someone in between you and the venture fund that you're targeting that can vouch for you because otherwise, it's going to be really hard. I think we've maybe taken one or two calls from like a LinkedIn message, and that was after we like did some back channeling. And everyone here is in a pretty good seat because you're in the Bitcoin Startup Lab. So, we're if we get confirmation from Albert or from anyone at the Startup Lab, or any, like we've funded a bunch of projects in earlier cohorts. So if you get one of them to vouch for you, then we'll take the call, we'll take the message. So the very first thing is like don't launch a bunch of cold emails or LinkedIn's or whatever because most people are just gonna delete that. Like you have to be so cautious that like you can't open stuff randomly. So find some sort of warm introduction. And then, you know, once you're past that, like you have to sell yourself in a blurb. Um, there's going to be more materials to follow, but usually when VC firms are sharing flow with each other, um, we'll share a blurb and then there'll be some links like your Twitter, your deck, maybe a white paper or something. Um, and that's it. And like I might get 10 of those messages a day from various firms. So, that one paragraph blurb is pretty important. Um, if there's like a spectrum, it could be very vague and not really say much. And the opposite end of that spectrum is like you hit every single buzzword imaginable, and both aren't great. Like there's some kind of balance between those. Um, if it's like a DeFi on AI using TikTok and agents and just like every single buzzword imaginable, I'm like fairly skeptical of that. And if it doesn't say anything, then I don't know what this is. Like I don't know why I'm gonna um, follow up on this. So I think just being very concise, what is the narrative that you're kind of after? What is the problem you're solving? Um, what chain, like most people here are in Bitcoin, maybe not everyone's like what ecosystem you're targeting. Just a few of like the very main points is enough to pique interest. Like if it's solving some sort of needed a problem that's needed to be solved, then like we'll go further and like look at the deck and say hi and like chat a little bit.